Well met. This video's topic is Vengeance Slayer. It's one of the more unique builds in the game. Not only it's a trigger melee build, but it also delivers damage sourced mostly from the quality of various gems and a pair of forbidden jewels. It plays like a cyclone but with much higher damage and a larger area of effect. Besides Vengeance, there are two other counterattack skills. These are much harder to trigger as fast and reliably as one can Vengeance. Vengeance has a chance to trigger each time you take damage. It has a cooldown of 1.2 seconds and low base damage, so it is rarely considered for any build at all. We can lower that cooldown to around 0.7 seconds with various tools. To benefit from it, you also have to damage yourself equally fast. Use Cyclone with Scold's Bridle, which causes you to take small hit damage based on your Cyclone's mana cost, which is around 5 a second. Slayer is the best choice with its impact for more AoE, Overwhelm for more crit chance and damage, and Bane of Legends with Headsman passives, which makes this class so good at fighting bosses. You can reach 100% crit chance here, which results in a lot of DPS. Vengeance, socketed in Atziri's disfavor, will be supported by Anomalous COC, which grants 50% more damage, and Divergent Pulverize, which supplies you with nearly 100% more damage. With such high damage, even performing this attack at a speed lower than 2 attacks per second is justified. Allocate Unwavering Stance to be stun immune. You have to be immune to stuns. A lot of hits can stun you and interrupt your Cyclone because the build is not very tanky. It hosts no Determination aura. It's more of a glass cannon build for fast mapping, as it excels at that. Clear speed is one of the best in the game. Limited only by your movement speed, which is easy to obtain. Single target damage is good enough for guardians and such, but the build is too squishy to attempt serious challenges. Most gear pieces are cheap, but some of them are very expensive. We will list them. Make sure you can afford these items. Gear. The required unique items are Scold's Bridle, Atziri's Disfavor, and a pair of forbidden jewels. The axe is quite pricey, but nothing too out of the ordinary. The jewels, however, are hard to put a price tag on. Their price is volatile, but expect to spend a lot here. Ashes of the Stars is not necessary. All the other items can be of rare quality. You will damage yourself with Cyclone by using Scold's Bridle Helmet. This damage will trigger Vengeance with high frequency. Atziri's Disfavor gives you attack range for a much better clear speed and quality to support gems socketed in here. It is a major upgrade with the selected gems of alternate quality. It has decent stats for a weapon, although it's a bit outdated. Shadows and Dust Gloves are great for fast-paced mapping due to the Rampage. It's also a source of critical strike modifiers and mana leech. Ryslath's Coil is one of the best belts for all melee builds. It gives you a lot of maximum life, damage, and life recovery on stun. The Torrent's Reclamation Belt gives you more cooldown recovery rate, life recovery rate, and speeds you up with the Harbinger. It's good for damage and to move faster. It costs a lot. As expensive as it is, Ashes is the best amulet due to the anomalous quality of Vengeance that translates to more damage. It also grants reservation efficiency. Hyri's Truth is the cheap alternative to Ashes of the Stars. It grants you a lot of dexterity, accuracy, crit chance, crit damage, and culling strike. Circle of Guilt improves your Herald of Purity. Go for the increased buff effect for more damage, and increased physical damage. Lethal Pride grants more strength and improves notables in its radius. These are often good for a melee build like this. Socket it near Savagery notable. You need Gladiator's Painforged from Forbidden Flame and Flesh. It quite literally doubles your damage and gives you a 10% chance to block attacks. Watcher's Eye. The Pride modifier that lets you impale enemies 2 more times is the most valuable one. Precision may also be useful with its critical strike mods. It's a simple melee build with only one caveat. It uses a trigger attack skill, so it doesn't need attack speed. Your Cyclone has plenty. You still need accuracy and impale chance, so be sure you can get them from gear if you haven't done so in your skill tree. Aim for a 100% crit chance. To reach such a high crit chance, you need good items and specific conditions like power charges and consecrated ground from Bottled Faith. Try to reduce the mana cost of Cyclone, get at least positive chaos resistance, and a lot of armor. It will be needed on top of around 4k of maximum life and capped resistances. Area of effect is important too, but it's scarce. What is usually a problem in COC Cyclone builds is their low movement speed. A lot of such builds use Stampede, but here we have chosen to pick Rotgut and Silver Flask with Berserker, Rampage, and Rage. Body armor. Here you should focus on maximum life and resistances first. Second, look for a modifier for an increased crit chance accompanied by other, rare modifiers. Your clear speed is tied to your movement speed, prioritize this stat on your boots. Armor, maximum life, resistances, and brittle ground as an Eldritch implicit will be good too. On your gloves get a lot of armor, maximum life, resistances, and accuracy if you need it. There are tons of useful Eldritch modifiers that can get you more damage or fix your impale or hit chance. Get some maximum life and resistances on your rings. These are by far the most important stats here. You should also craft the prefix to lower the cost of Cyclone, a channeling skill. Vengeance is free. Maximum life and critical strike modifiers will be the most impactful modifiers on a jewel. You should have gathered resistances and attributes from rare gear already. Physical-oriented or two-hand cluster jewels are exceptionally good. We have used one such jewel with graceful execution, fuel the fight, and martial prowess. We have used two medium cluster jewels with vast power and magnifier for an increased area of effect and crit multiplier. The build is expected to be good at fast mapping. Lion's Roar gives you a lot of damage and armor. The chance to flee and knockbacks are good in Trial of the Ancestors. Bottled Faith is one of the best flask for critical strike builds. It improves your damage, crit chance, and causes consecrated ground. It's a bit expensive. Rotgut is a major bonus to your movement speed during mapping, as you should have a lot of frenzy charges constantly. You can use Magic Quicksilver Flask instead. For your other magic flasks, you can use Silver, Diamond, Quicksilver, and Life Flask with instant life recovery and bleed immunity. These flasks can increase your movement speed, armor, or crit chance with their suffixes. Anomalous Vengeance has a cooldown of 1.2 seconds, but the anomalous quality increases its recovery rate. It deals damage to all enemies around you as you damage yourself with Scold's Bridle. It costs nothing. Anomalous cast on critical strike support. It grants 50% more attack damage due to the improved anomalous quality when socketed in Atziri's disfavor. If you can't afford or get it, replace it with close combat or impale support. Use Divergent Pulverize to deal more damage. It will reduce your attack speed, but it does not apply to trigger skills. Select Brutality, melee physical damage, and increased critical damage support gems too. Cyclone is a source of self-damage with Scold's Bridle. It will also generate Rage, Fortify, and Power charges. Link it with Infused Channeling, Rage, Fortify, faster attacks, and Power charge on critical support gems. Leap Slam is the movement attack that you can use to move faster and jump over the ledges. Link it with Life Tap. You have another skill that needs to be linked to a Life Tap, so socket it here too. It's the Assassin's Mark with Mark on hit support. You're more likely to hit the cursed enemy with a critical strike, and you deal more critical damage to them. Blood and Sand allows you to select between more area damage and less area of effect, or vice versa. Pride affects enemies around you, they will take increased physical damage. Dread Banner increases your chance to impale and the effect of it. Nearby enemies have less accuracy rating. Herald of Purity simply grants you more physical damage. Ancestral Warchief grants you more melee damage as it stays active. Blood Rage generates frenzy charges on kill and gives you Life Leech with attack speed. It drains your life, and the buff is refreshed with each kill. You can use Berserk to consume your rage and receive a short-lived boost to your damage and durability. Precision increases your critical strike chance and accuracy rating. Kill all the bandits in Act 2 and be rewarded with 2 additional skill points. Soul of Lunaris seems great here. It increases your movement speed, physical damage reduction, and protects you from projectiles. You don't need Brine King as you're already stun immune, unless you're afraid of being frozen. Soul of Gruthku is a great option for a minor god. It grants additional physical damage reduction for each hit you've taken recently, which is very often as you're hitting yourself. On the passive skill tree gather maximum life, impale, two-hand, and critical strike passives. Get enough reservation efficiency to host all the auras and accuracy to hit enemies reliably. A bit of armor and evasion is useful too. For masteries, get 50 extra life as life mastery, mana reservation efficiency as mana mastery, rage on hit as axe mastery, extra flat accuracy as accuracy mastery, increased damage against unique enemies as two-hand mastery, and intimidation as attack mastery. That is all you need to know about this build, but if we did miss something, let us know below. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. Until next time.